Dating after caregiving comes with its own unique challenges and opportunities, and in this episode of Flirtations, we're diving into what it's like to re-enter the dating world as a boomer. I'm joined by voiceover artist and communications enthusiast Pam Wood, who shares her personal experiences dating as a boomer after caregiving. We talk about where to meet people, the dating apps, and dating strategy. Then we get into the art of flirting with your voice as we play with different ways to use the voice for more engaging conversations and flirts. If you've ever felt like a late bloomer flirty, it's never too late to flirt and date. Now let's meet Pam.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, Flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, Flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Flirties, on the show today, we have voice actor and communications enthusiast Pam Wood. Hello, Pam.
Hi, Benjamin.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. We have a really windy day yesterday and today in the Mid-Atlantic area, so it's
Yeah, we got that
very
as well.
breezy.
Yeah, there were a bunch of power outages. There were some branches down and things. Luckily, my internet went out again, but it's back on today. And
good.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. I got a little nervous there for a moment.
It's the days when you don't really want to have to put the trash out, because that lid will
Fly all
go
over the
up
place.
and everything.
Well, I'm excited for this conversation. In the latter part of the episode today, we're going to get into some flirting tips with the voice, bringing in some of your work and experiences there. And here in the beginning, because we worked together for a moment, you booked a call with the flirt coach, a one-on-one.
I did.
And I got to know you a little bit there, and I thought it would be so much fun to have an episode with you, not to just learn more about you and your work, but your experience where you're at with dating and flirting. I thought there's just very underrepresented. There's not a lot out there. So thank you for being on the show today.
Yes. Well, thank you. I was so excited that you had the idea.
Yeah.
And, I actually last night had kind of an epiphany that for me anyway, when I think of flirting, at least in my lifetime, I'll say, and maybe a lot of ladies are feeling the same way, we kind of think, or at least my head goes to Mae West, which is so over the top flirting. And I'm thinking, do I have to do that? God, I hope not. So I really like the approach you have with building connections and more subtle approaches. I think that's better for my mindset. But the reason I reached out to you initially was so we are now in 2025, and for 10 years I was a caregiver for my mom. We lived together, we shared a home together, and she was 101 when she passed in September. And so it was very stressful the last 2 years. And, I rarely got out of the house, even if we had sitters, occasional sitters, but I had that, I need to get home. So even if I could get out socially for lunch or something, I always felt like I had to get back home. So here I am now, post-caregiving, and I don't really know where to start, and I've always gone with friends or always felt like I needed a friend to go with. So it's really, really hard for me to go by myself. Now, I will go to eat by myself, but to go to a social event, it's really tough. And especially being a boomer, a proud boomer.
Yes.
And I've seen heard some other podcasts and things where they talk about late bloomers, but they're referring to people of like 27, 28, dating, late bloomers. I'm talking about 62 plus, 65 plus. It's a challenge. And especially as we talked when we met the first time in my area, it's everybody pretty much is married.
Yeah.
It's a growing community, but it was very rural when I moved here many years ago, very much farming communities. And it's just really tough. So I'm back to ask you, I guess, to, share some more tips for folks who are having to step out after a very long hiatus that we hadn't planned on, I guess.
Right.
And now I'm kind of ready. Some days I think I'm not. I pull myself back. But I think I'm ready to get out there and meet some people and have the courage to go by myself, like to a coffee shop event or something like that. So I'm all ears for you on that. If there's anything that you can share with my age bracket that's getting back into dating and flirting again. So
yeah, well, I'm excited for you because I think you're in this phase of life where there's a lot of opportunities for new beginnings, where you can now dedicate some more time and energy more for you and what you want, and what, if that's dating, if it's a relationship, if it's social opportunities, reconnecting with friends. And so I think there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of possibility and opportunities. As we talked on the call, one of the harder parts is going to be where to meet people.
yes.
Yeah. Before we hit record, you were sharing, get you re-downloaded Match, if you could. How is that going, Pam?
Well, I've done it before.
Okay.
I've done it several times over the last, 10, 15 years.
Yes.
And no disrespect to anybody who's on there, but I should just leave it at that.
Fair to middling at best.
The sigh.
Yeah.
The sigh. And I'm telling you, if there are men listening to this, please, for the all things holy and online dating platforms, is learn how to take a good picture.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like,
I know.
Nope,
I know.
nope,
Yeah.
nope.
For the men, you have, it could be your friend, if you have a kid or kids, someone, a brother, a sibling, somebody, a sister, anyone, just have them take just a few. Don't worry about, it does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be the best angle, the best lighting, just something. I think you're seeing a lot of bathroom selfies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And gyms.
And
Bathrooms and gyms.
Yeah. Yeah. So fellas, we gotta switch it up. Something outdoors. If you're going really anything outside, recreationally, sports, hobbies, doesn't matter. Just have someone, or take it yourself. You could do just a little bit of that, right? Phone in one hand, hold it above you.
Hold
You're
it
kind
up.
of looking up at the camera. You're going to get that great angle. You're going to get the side profile. So the sun is looking at you, but you can turn yourself in such a way so it's not in your eyes, and then your eyes are closed.
Not your camera down in your lap to take a picture.
Yeah,
no, that's not very good.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
the apps, not really apping for you in your neck of the woods.
in my neck of the woods, it is not. It is not.
But we were talking on the call. You're getting out and you're doing some things. So what are some of those things?
Well, I did meet up with some friends a few weeks ago that there is a restaurant in town that I didn't even know existed until like a month ago, and it's been here for 3 years. And it's a brewery, and they have a lot of fundraisers on Monday nights.
Yes.
And so I went with some friends, and it was fun. It was just fun to get out, and there's another one coming up in a couple of weeks, same place, different fundraiser. So I plan to go to that.
Okay.
We have a new coffee shop in town that actually closed before COVID. I'm not sure why, but they've reopened. Same location.
Fantastic.
It's a beautiful place.
Okay.
And they're going to be having some events, some like fireside music and things like that. And it's just getting the nerve. Instead of getting stressed out and asking a friend to go who can't go for whatever reason.
Okay.
People are busy, right?
Yeah,
So I'm trying to get the confidence and the nerve up to just go by myself and have a cup of coffee and just sit back and relax and listen and enjoy it. And that's hard. That's tough for me.
Sure. When you say get the nerve up, what's maybe one or two of those thoughts that come up? Or is it something you're thinking? Is it more so you're feeling? Is it something you're experiencing in your body? Yeah, what's a little bit of that resistance
Oh,
like?
that's a good question because I'm really not sure. I guess
Mm,
because I am very, very shy, really.
mm,
And it's hard for me to make small talk
sure.
with people that I don't know, which I'm
Mhm.
sure that probably covers a lot of people. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can really I'm going to have to think about that. And
Yeah.
what, I guess it's because when you walk into a place, everybody looks to see who's coming in,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
then they go back to what they're doing. And that initial, like, oh,
Yeah.
people know I'm here now. So, and that's what we
Yeah.
want, but it's kind
Yeah.
of scary. It's a little scary.
Sure. And I think a lot of the flirties will relate to that feeling of nervousness or anxiety going into a space by yourself. Maybe
Yeah.
you came in with some expectations about, oh, who's going to be there? Who might see me? You want to make a connection, leave with a phone number or a date kind of thing. And I totally relate to that as an introvert and socially anxious member
Hmm.
of society myself, believe it or not. It's the small talk is difficult for me because it just doesn't it's sometimes we're uncomfortable with the silence or
Yeah.
uncomfortable with the
Hmm.
vulnerability that may come, not that you're revealing your whole life story, but
Right.
just what happens when you go beyond, so how about that weather? It's so what brings you here? Then it's what's next. So I can understand that, but I'll say how I experience you on the couple times we've chatted now is great energy. You're
Oh,
very present, amazing listener. You make eye contact, you're smiling. Like you are someone that I would be interested in talking
oh.
to.
Well, we talked about when we met that there was the running joke that my mom um, was was,
Yeah.
the man magnet when we got into our dancing. We were ballroom dancers, and
Yes.
the men kind of even at her age then. She
Hmm.
was dancing into her late 80s
Hmm.
and even early 90s, and the men just loved to dance with. Well, they loved to dance with me too, but
Hmm.
she was known as kind of the man. I gave her the name as the man
Man
magnet,
magnet.
and then I said, I think, but it skipped a generation.
You did
And
say
you
that. Yeah.
assured me that it did not.
I don't think
So,
it did. Yeah. So when it comes to, I wrote down on my notes here places to meet some potential singles because I
yeah.
understand the demographics. It's still rural but growing, and but
Hmm.
it's the way it's growing. It is a lot of those families. But
Yeah.
but there's gonna be some singles as well. So I love the coffee shop idea.
Hmm.
I wrote down live music
Yeah.
if this
Yeah.
coffee
Because I
shop or if
love music. Yeah.
yes, oh my gosh, and it gives you I love live music for a few reasons, but one, it just creates a lot of really good energy,
Hmm.
and it creates this space where you don't have to always have a conversation. You don't have to always be talking.
Right.
You can really be with someone in
Hmm.
some of those moments of stillness and silence, and that's okay. It's expected because
Yeah.
you're listening to the music.
Well, I know if there's any other, if there are any other caregivers out there,
Mm,
there comes a time where you just kind of welcome the peace, when you've
mm.
had such a busy life for such a long time. And so I'm
Yeah,
trying to go into this with, I love music
yeah.
and I just want to go, I'm not a big drinker, so I'll probably grab a coffee.
Mhm.
But if it'll just be a place where I can be calm and
Totally.
quiet and enjoy it, that's how I'm trying to get through this.
Yeah,
That I'll be able to go and just enjoy the
yeah,
setting because I'm really excited that they've reopened again. So,
yeah. I think that's a great approach to have. And how about are there any ballroom dancing
well,
opportunities locally?
yeah, there are, and I
Okay.
have taught locally.
Yes.
Sadly, it's kind of dwindled around a little bit.
Okay.
There is an opportunity for me to, after almost 5 years, to maybe get back and teach a little bit. I'm taking things kind of slow, so I am excited about that. But again, most times it's couples that come. But at least for my heart, it'll be good. It'll be good for me to be back on the floor again. So
yeah, and who knows? Maybe they have a single sibling or relative, or
well,
they know someone. Yeah, you got a single friend you could bring next time. Maybe refer to my class. Yeah,
I've hinted at friends. I say I'm open to meeting people.
Yes, wink,
I
wink,
don't know
wink.
how much more I can say. But I'm just. I do want to meet them organically, and I realize that's going to be a little harder for me. But I'm thinking of ways to get out there, not just as a boomer, but as somebody who's been out of the loop for quite a long time. So
harder. Yeah, I think it's sometimes important to recognize some of the built-in challenges because it's not fair for me to sit here and say, right, it's just kind of an equal opportunity for everyone across the board.
Right.
I think that kind of sets you up for, it just doesn't acknowledge some of the built-in difficulties. But at the same time, it seems like there are some good options.
They're growing, and I think as I am now able to look for them, I couldn't for a long time. So now that I know, I look at events online, and I'll express interest, and then I know that carries over to my side,
Totally,
and that people will see that I'm interested in going to this or that. But just now that I can explore the options, I am kind of excited about that. So
yeah. So I got one more question for you here. Let's play through a coffee shop visit, perhaps.
Okay.
So what would be? So you said yes. You're in the space. You went with just you, and who knows who's going to show up, right? What kind of band is there? Music is playing. What the atmosphere may be like for that particular time. But what would be a successful or just, maybe let's use the word good. What would be a good experience for you?
Well, that's a good question. If it's a place, which I haven't been to for a long time, but if it's a place where I have gone enough that I know the people, I know the people behind the bar or the servers, if I can get going and go enough times, that would make me comfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I said, I haven't been in there for a long time, but it's, I think, a rather cozy environment. It's a nice, warm, welcoming environment. And I think as long as people are nice to me and I can be nice back to them and, and chat, or if not, I'm going to do my best to just go and listen to the music and, strike up conversations when they make themselves apparent, I guess.
Yes. I think that's perfect. I think that's
Any other ideas?
That's it. I think that's the approach and that's the strategy, because let's say you start talking to someone and maybe they are they're there with their spouse, or they're in a relationship, or they're not dating, or whatever. But then, they know of this event that's happening next weekend, that's not advertised. That's all word of mouth. It's not on social media, but it's a local band. Like we have a few of those that happen locally in my area, where on the weekends they're fairly large events. They can draw a couple hundred people, but they're word of mouth, right?
Wow.
They're local. It's not something that you're really gonna see on a Google search or that's being advertised on Instagram or something. So maybe you learn about something, or maybe you learn about an event, or maybe it's just you have a really good conversation. You meet someone else that's been caring for a parent or a relative, and you can just share a little bit about that experience. Yeah. So I think you have the right approach.
I think as long as I can go in, talk to myself before I go, get out of the car, and have a little pep talk, and go in, shoulders back, eyes up, instead of, looking around like this, then, it will get easier as you do it. It will get easier as you do it. And that's what I keep telling myself.
Yeah. wear this. I love this.
Oh.
You're wearing like this olive green. It's a little bit
Yeah.
of a V cut. You've got the necklace, which is catching the light right here.
Yeah.
And yes, I see the hair. We've got some jewelry, some earrings. So I think this is, bring all of this, please.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
You're
Very kind
welcome.
of you to say.
Let's get into a little voiceover work. Yes. So I see also on the screen here, we've got your name, Pam Wood / Voiceover Pam. So
Voiceover Pam,
we are
yeah.
going to be getting into some ways to use your voice to flirt, to make some connections. Yeah, but want to hear a little bit more about your voiceover work too.
Well, I initially went to college for communications because I wanted to get into broadcasting. And I did a little bit. I did quite a few years in radio, and then I got out of it. And then so many different hats. But then COVID hit, and I had to shut down my dance business. And I thought, okay, what can I do from home and still take care of Mom? And so I thought, okay, I can revisit maybe my voiceover work. And little did I know that 10,000 other people were going to be doing the same thing during COVID.
Yeah.
So it made it really, really tough to get in there. But anyway, I actually got into audiobooks. I've done maybe close to 40 of them now. And but when we talked, and it was kind of some pet peeves. And I think that when we go out, me included, and I don't know so much for the guys, but I'm thinking maybe for the ladies, but I don't want to pinpoint. But I think that the adrenaline is going. We're nervous.
Absolutely.
We're on a first date. And sometimes, in my humble opinion and experience, we tend to speed up. And then we start getting faster. And then sometimes our voice goes up, And then so now we've got two things against us. We've got a really high voice that wasn't there before, and we're talking super, super fast. And so if there is other noise around, to me, it's kind of hard to pick up. And I don't know if it's a generational thing or not, but I just can't hardly tolerate some of the things that I'm seeing online and social media, because I don't know if it's the platforms that are restricting the time, or if people are speeding up their videos. I don't know, but everybody just sounds so fast. We don't need to talk that fast. Let your partner or your date kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And like I say, our voice may go up because the nerves are there. So just take a breath. And I often, when I was teaching dance, I would try to get the folks to slow down a little bit because, again, nervous, and they start moving too fast. And I think of The Matrix, that movie, although I've never seen it, but I've seen trailers, and how they move in slow motion.
Yeah.
And to me, in my head, and I've done a lot of public speaking and other jobs that I've had, and I've had audiences, and I would tell them to think of The Matrix. It's going to sound in your head when you slow down that you're talking very, very slow. And it may sound very, very slow. But to your audience, hopefully it's coming across clear, concise, and you're taking the time to think about what you want to say.
Yes.
And just with those couple of things, I think we can apply to the dates, especially the first couple of dates, when the nerves are kind of jittery and whatnot. And, it could be the same for the guys. They're, maybe they're talking too fast as well. I have to tell you this, and I've tried to find it online, but I saw an old episode of Frasier, when Dr. Phil was a guest on there.
Okay.
He was playing himself.
And
I've tried to find it, but I can't see the whole thing. And all I remember was Dr. Phil's voice was up like this.
Yeah.
And he was talking to Frasier, and he was all excited. And I thought, that's not how that man sounds.
Yeah, but you're speaking to a few things that happen when we're flirting and when we're dating. We're just out at a coffee shop or seeing some music, right? And we start to, maybe get in our head a little bit. We get nervous, and so our voice speeds up. Our words start to get closer together, right? We're not taking those breaths. It's okay. Yeah, the pitch sort of goes up in there. Yeah, when you get nervous, your voice gets a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But then what also can happen, and this is what you were saying, is we don't give the other person a chance to respond. Like part of a conversation is you have to also listen and be present to have the other person share about themselves. You ask the question, give them a chance to say something. So just taking a little bit of a breath can help you give yourself more time and space in your own words, but then also have it be a conversation so that whoever you're talking to, has a chance to come into this as well. And I love talking about the voice. I'm going to plug episode 44 of my podcast as well. I did with my vocal coach. And we talked about all the things you can do with the voice that if you've listened to Flirtations and watched my videos, you'll see I do all the time. I just did it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of your signature.
Yes.
It's kind of become a little signature for you, I think. And, but it's, and I think you bring up a great point that in voiceover and in recording the audiobooks, we say, take a beat.
Take a beat.
Take a beat and let that last sentence sink in before you start the next one.
Yep.
And so I think that's a really good tip for any of us is to take a beat in between our sentences because, like you say, it doesn't give the other person a chance to speak.
Yeah.
And we're so concerned about having quietude in between us.
Yeah.
Makes us nervous to have that quietude. I'm to blame. I've been there. So I've been there.
Yeah, we've all done it. But it just is really something that is a skill that you can bring into your flirting lives, your dating lives, into your relationships. If you're in a relationship of some form or fashion, and you can bring this into your friendships, just your overall, your everyday life, your work, your education, your career, everything, how we communicate is, you get to have your own style with that too. You get to make it your own. Like something I didn't even realize that I did that some people have commented on is sometimes I will hold my breath and create a pause between, like I'll kind of talk a little bit fast and run through a sentence and then I'll end it. Like I kind of leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and I didn't even realize I was doing that.
Oh, well, then that kind of makes us want to speak up.
Yeah. It gives you that chance to, okay, now I'm about to wrap up. It's a little bit of a cue to, here's the ping pong ball. Now it's your turn.
Well, that was just one takeaway that I wanted to share with folks because I know the nerves butterflies start bumping around, and we either don't know what to say, or sometimes we say it too much or too fast, or say just me included. We just have to settle in and enjoy it.
Me too. And for the flirties that may want to learn more about voiceover work, maybe work with a voiceover coach. Yes, receive some training. I think you live on LinkedIn, but how else they could find you on the internet?
Yeah, I have a website, voiceoverpam.com.
Okay.
I would love to work with folks that are, potentially small business owners or people who are on camera that they're not used to being on camera.
Yep.
And how I might be able to help them get comfortable. And here's the homework for the next week or so. Just watch television. I'm giving you permission to watch the commercials and listen to the commercials and rate them on the speed with which people are talking. Trying to get the point across. So
interesting. That's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm not going to fast forward through through the commercials this coming week. I'm going to check out.
Right. Listen.
Not just what they're saying, but how are they saying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if it's not a professional voiceover doing it.
Yeah.
But if it's apparent that it's a business owner or somebody within the business.
Yes.
Who is doing it, and that, they're not professionals. So how can we, polish that up a little bit?
Right. Pam, I'm going to have your links here in the show notes for this episode. Wonderful. I really thank you for coming on Flirtations today and sharing more about yourself and having this conversation with me and the Flirties today.
and I will snap a selfie at the coffee shop in this top and send it to you.
All right, I want an update next time.
Okay.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Flirties, that's a wrap on this episode of Flirtations. Thank you so much to our guest, Pam Wood, for coming on the show today to share her experiences dating as a caregiver, as a boomer, sharing some insights into how we can use the voice to flirt and to date. Really appreciated, you being on the show today, Pam. Thank you so much. And if you're interested, if you're a creator, an entrepreneur, a business owner, you want to practice your voice skills, how you can use the voice in your business, in your work, Pam's links here in the show notes for this episode. All right, Flirty, thank you for tuning in, for listening, for streaming, wherever you may be in the world. Can you, rate, review, subscribe? Can we do the things? Let me know. Share some feedback. Share this episode with a friend. I really appreciate you. And if you want to work together one-on-one, as we did, Pam and I did, that link is in the show notes for this episode as well. Book your call with the Flirt Coach, and we can talk about truly whatever you want as it pertains to your flirting and dating lives, or really just life, if that's what you're into. Okay, so thank you once again. Signing off officially here at Flirt Headquarters. My name is Benjamin. I'm the Flirt Coach and Gay Libra Flirty. Happy flirting.